What's up, guys and gals of the movement world? It's Sean Mishka, the Movement Miyagi, coming to you once again on behalf of Football Beyond the Stats in another movement skill short story this week for week 11 of the 2025 NFL season. And today, for the second time here in this 25 campaign, we're going to look at Jahmyr Gibbs, running back of the Detroit Lions. Arguably the most skillful mover in space, moving at higher speeds. Certainly the best decelerator in context. And we're going to be able to illustrate on Sunday Night Football against the defending champs Philadelphia Eagles how he puts this on display. And then what we might be able to do as coaching practitioners, skill acquisition specialists, and football support staffs to facilitate similar movement behavior to this. So let's look at the play here. Again, Sunday Night Football, third quarter, against the Philadelphia Eagles on grass in Philly. And you are going to see Jahmyr Gibbs here down at the bottom of your screen. Let me go ahead and actually put that at full speed here, or at faster speed rather, so you can kind of see it play out before we look at slow 50% speed. So we're moving at 70% here, 75, excuse me. Jahmyr Gibbs, number 0, Agent Zero, if you will, Sonic, as he is also known. Let's watch it one more time through. Ball getting into Jahmyr Gibbs' hand here down, moving in this slice near the numbers to the boundaries, looking and giving that appearance as if he's going to go to the sideline, as guys with speed typically do, to get down the sideline, so they really only have to focus on what lies to the one side of them. But Jahmyr Gibbs here uses that to get guys over pursuing, getting them exactly where he wants them on a string. So let's go to 50% speed here because we're going to be able to slow things down. Here's where we're going to get two different slices that will emerge from, oh yes, you know it, the football Bible, football movement skill acquisition Bible, known as Enhancing Skill in American Football. Little cheap plug there for my own book. I would recommend, first and foremost, we look at these local movement problems and think about the various slices that we could create, that we could design, that we could set for the players in our learning environment. We think about this now, a couple different things. You guys have heard me talk about it before. Let's look at two various slices here, okay? And this will be down at the sidelines, even though we can't see the sidelines, okay? So hashes to sideline is a 2v2 or 3v2 or 3v3 slice that we can create, first and foremost, okay? And we do this really frequently in our own respective learning environment. Jahmyr Gibbs, ball carrier, entering the top of the workspace. And if you think about how I'm designing this workspace, it is a 10-yard long. We could take it to 15 if we wanted, but we're going to take it this square or more rectangle type of shape. Again, either hashes to numbers or hashes to sideline or numbers to sideline, depending on exactly what it is that you're trying to facilitate. This player, this offensive skill player, can get the ball in his hands in any number of ways. He can catch it as Jahmyr Gibbs does here, looking off to the scud, off to the quarterback. He could catch it head up. He could already have the ball in his hands. He could be turning and running into it from one of these respective, let me see if I could get a star out to designate a cone. Like if we were to start one here, start this guy there, and then start some guys in the workspace, okay? So that would be right there a 3v3 if Jahmyr gives a start as well, right? 1, 2, 3 Detroit Lions or 3 offensive players, 1, 2, 3 defenders. So a 3v3 in this type of workspace, we let it play out where Jahmyr Gibbs' intention is simply around solving the emerging movement problem that might present itself while trying to pick up the line to gain, in this case, 10 yards away. Something we do at least 1 or 2 times a week in the spring and the summer in my respective learning environment for both my running backs and linebackers or defensive backs, guys who are going to have to pursue them. A lot of times these offensive players here, these blockers, we will not always have offensive linemen in our learning environment. We might try to recruit some to come in. We might try to use tight ends or other wide receivers or running backs ball carriers in this sense. So to create this 3v3 and letting it play out accordingly. And it will play out in any number of ways, right? As they explore that space and as affordances or gaps emerge in decay. Okay, affordances being opportunities to act, as you guys know, emerge in decay. That's one type of local movement problem that we can set up, that 3v3 in any number of ways, typically putting the chaser, let me go back there if I could, to where he catches the ball. A chaser in any number of places and spaces, and we'll go off screen here momentarily, to where our chaser becomes very important here. This chaser here is going to enter the workspace from left to right, but we would sometimes have this chaser starting from back here, starting straight behind him, so he's picking up a little bit of speed. We might even have him out here coming from any number of ways, even at the numbers of the boundaries. But this place where this cat is already beginning is exactly something that we would do, or we might put him here or here. Okay, that part is important because obviously the moment we get a chaser into the mix, it's not just about solving the problem that lies right in front of oneself, but it's about having a bigger perceptual radar, a 360-degree perceptual radar that is geared towards being attuned and sensitive to what lies behind or to the side of. Again, Gibson's idea of skilled perception getting wider, longer, deeper, and richer. Okay, trying to tell that whole picture. But it's not just that which what the eye can see out in front of oneself or what the eye can see behind. It is a feeling, it is a haptic, it is a sense, or a sixth sense, if you will, in this case. Now we get to another local movement problem, one that we set up pretty frequently, not always in this type of workspace per se, but another 10 yards long, okay? We might do it here from the hashes to the numbers where that guy would enter. We might do it again from the hashes or the numbers and then, off screen down here to the sideline. Just imagine that's a sideline even though it's off screen at the moment, okay? So this is another workspace size, typically 2v2 where we have, and I won't be able to show this exactly, or a 1v2. So this cat moving in relation to bearing angles, relative velocity values, being perceptually attuned to kinematics and movement behaviors that are unfolding for two players, two defenders in this space. This is how I, in my learning environment, will aim to set up slices or snippets of the game that channel rapid deceleration in context. Again, we've talked about it before. How do running back coaches typically do this? At slalom poles, or, I'm just going to use again the cones. Maybe we would have the drill start here. He's going to go here. He's going to go here. He's going to go here. And then maybe he's going to accelerate out through, right? I don't think that's very relevant here because Jahmyr Gibbs, just like we saw in his first movement play of the week earlier this season, deceleration in context is closely coupled, deceleration as there is in the entire NFL in the open field at higher speeds right now. Maybe Bijan Robinson in that conversation, maybe a guy like George Pickens at wide receiver in that conversation, maybe a Jahmyr Chase in that conversation. Outside of that, Jahmyr Gibbs, as good as it comes right now, moving and decelerating in context. Here he's got a chaser too. Nakobe Dean, is that Nakobe Dean? Coming from behind. No, it's Nakobe Dean right there in front of him, along with Blankenship and then Mitchell as well. So we could set this up in any number of ways. Okay, notice how he's using the entirety of the workspace. There it is, like I talked about. He gives this intention that he's going where right here. Think about this. Tell the movement problem-solving story for Jahmyr Gibbs. Where does it look like he's going at this instant? If you were Nakobe Dean and you were Reed Blankenship, where do you think that Jahmyr Gibbs is going? You think he's trying to hit this to get north and south, right? Most guys who are capable of accelerating with world-class for football acceleration or speed capabilities are trying to get to the sideline in this situation. But Jahmyr Gibbs channeling his Barry Sanders, Mosher Falk type mode, okay, gives that appearance and then looks for the cutback when he has them overcommitted. He has these two guys pitted against each other, and I don't know if he can feel Mitchell, number 27, behind him. We could easily make this a 1v3 in this case. We do a lot of 1v2 in this type of space where one guy is responsible for making two guys miss and then decelerating in context. Remember, I talked last time with Jahmyr Gibbs. It's not about some sort of technical model for deceleration or for planting and change direction. You guys see it? Hopefully you do. It's not about the technical model for deceleration or change of direction. It's about coordinating, controlling, and organizing a functionally fit movement strategy and solution that matches the needs of the problem. And again, what is Gibbs going to be attuned and intentional around? Relative velocity values, posture, body angles, and the like. Now we see him in space, and this will be one that we can recreate as well. He just made these two miss. Now he enters another workspace. Now he enters another local movement problem to solve, making guys fall left and right, making guys trip over their feet, making guys chase him and play at his game. That will be less of that, which what we will investigate and show what you can do in an easier way for your own skill players. And if we're doing it for our skill players, getting them attuned, intentional, and adaptable around these types of open field interactions, we're also doing it for the defenders. Yes, our education of attention and intention is going to change and how we might be able to manipulate constraints, but the same movement problem, they're going to feed into one another. Problem and solution dynamics, they become one with one another. Let's look at Gibbs here from this angle, doing his thing in space now. Now there we see it, that updated perception. That perception connects to the action. The perception and action coupling, or the problem solving around it, is connected to the problem itself. What can we do then? Let's look at it on paper or on grass from, again, enhancing skill in American football. Boom, there it is. That's exactly where these came from. Same idea. Now it doesn't have to be curved linear, right? Let's get my trusty telestrator out here. This would be Jahmyr Gibbs. He can enter it as he did as we saw him. Okay. He doesn't have to come in this curved linear fashion as we see him here. Okay. Doesn't have to be in that way. He can enter it in any number of ways. Remember, repetition without repetition inject problem variability in this way. Now we have two offensive players going to block. They could start anywhere. Okay. Typically, I have them start at the end of the workspace as they are here, but we could already, if I can get my X's out, we could already have them in the workspace, okay? And then this cat starting right here. There's our three offensive players, right? If we think about it like that, I guess I shouldn't have made them X's. I should have made them hearts or stars. But you guys kind of get the deal. And then we can move this defender so he's not moving from left to right as easy to see, okay? When someone doesn't even need to scan for it. We could put him entering the space. Let's use an X to depict him. Moving from left to right here. Again, what we do on the left, we would also do on the right. Okay. We could put him, let me just draw quickly if I could. We could put him as a chaser here, here, or here. And then as soon as the offensive player catches the ball, they have to be mindful of what could be coming from behind. And of course, I got three defenders there because I'm just showing where you could put one, but you could put multiple chasers. Make this movement problem really complex, really quickly. Okay. And then rep to rep, inject more variability from the problem. The more variability, you turn up that dial of the problem, the more it's going to bring solution variability, and how that process of solving that problem again and again changes from changing perceptual pickup, intentional aims to act, decisions that one will make, and ultimately the coordination of their action. Hopefully that makes some sense. There is our 3v3, changing positions and workspaces. You can see it's hashed the sideline there. We can do it numbers to sideline. We can do it in any number of ways. One more share for you guys here. Fast pursuit in space at the boundary. Now we flipped it, but you guys get the deal, right? Now this is a 1v3 as I talked about. Easy way for us to do this 1v3 instead of having guys, as you've seen me do in the past, moving straight across at this angle. So when he's doing this layered movement problem solving, he being Gibbs in this case, and he looks over to here, he doesn't see all three guys at the same time and has to sift through them, even though we do like that. We would typically put a chaser coming from behind here as well. Okay. 1v2, 1v3. We've done a lot of 1v1. We do that on a daily basis. But this type of local movement problem is one that we set up really frequently, where we change the positions of these guys. So sometimes, like we saw on the play, they overrun it. And then this offensive player can come here and then ultimately look for a cutback angle to move up the field or back into the teeth of the defense or back to the middle of the field. So a number of different local movement problems that we could see emerge just from this Jahmyr Gibbs play. But again, deceleration in context, the ability to stop, restart, and after changing direction. It isn't about the technical model. It isn't about repping that in rote or by rote at cones or at something of the like. It's about doing it in relation to an alive movement problem that brings on predictability, indeterminacy. And right now, Jahmyr Gibbs in the open field, as good as it comes, doing it at high speed. So for another movement skill short story, this is Football Beyond the Stats. I'm Sean Mishka, the Movement Miyagi. I'll talk to you all next time.